are the 10 most touching animal rescues. Let's go! In Poland, in a forest area near the Belarusian border, a large deer got stuck in a swamp and could not get out. Only the head, neck, and back protruded from the swamp. The foresters saw the animal and immediately rushed to save it. It was pulled by the horns, but it struggled and only later realized that they wanted to help it and stopped resisting. They dragged it out for an hour. Fortunately, everything worked out, and after the rescue, the elk disappeared into the forest. An unsuspecting woman was driving with a kitten stuck under her hood. A dog rode with her. When it felt or heard a kitten, it barked. The woman stopped. After examining the car and finding a small kitten under the hood, she did not know what to do next. The woman couldn't get the kitten by herself. So she called Hope for Paws Animal Rescue Service. Arriving at the site, the volunteer tried to lure the animal out, but it was so scared that it hid even deeper. They put a fence around the car just in case, but the kitten, breaking through the only gap in the fence, ran away and hid under another car. Examining one car after another, they found it. It crawled up the wheel and under the hood again. So they had to find the owner of the car to open the hood. And finally, a dirty, scared, and indignant but unharmed kitten was caught. The volunteer took the kitten to the organization's shelter and bathed it. It was given the name Axel. And just imagine, the kitten thanked the volunteer for the rescue, rubbing its muzzle on his face. This story will touch you to the core. In India, a dog began to whine loudly in the hope that its howl will attract the attention of caring people. People who ran to the noise realized that it most likely lost its children in the rubble of the house. The old and dilapidated house where they lived collapsed, and under the rubble of concrete slabs were its puppies. An animal rescue team from Animal Aid was called in. The mother dog pointed out to the rescuers where her babies were. While the volunteers were sorting out the heavy stones and trying to do it as soon as possible, the dog tried to help them by digging and biting the stones. Just think about it. She was removed, but the dog could not stay away. And then they heard the whining of her pups. They were miraculously alive, and the mother's heart felt it. The puppies were taken out, and the mother calmed down. She immediately took them in her embrace and fed them. The dog family found a new, safe corner, and the mother was fed. The poor little pup got its paw caught in a trap. It's a disgusting and cruel device. On the cry of the baby, caring people came running. But the puppy ran away and did not allow to be touched. It was afraid it would hurt even more. How pitiful it wept. But in the end, the man managed to remove the trap from the paws of the puppy. The baby was taken from the forest and fed. Fortunately, the paw was all right. Apparently, it was just squeezed very hard and the trap was without teeth. A little later, the puppy was playing with its new friend. The captain of a small yacht noticed a turtle entangled in a net, and one of the men from the boat dove for it. Without help, the animal could not get out of this trap. The net was huge. The poor thing was completely enveloped in it and dragged a huge tail out of this tangled net. The man caught the turtle and gave it to the yacht. It didn't even resist. The net was cut and the animal was released into the sea. Look how fast it was able to swim away! Wild animal rescuer Simon Cole was called to report a fox with its paw stuck in a fence. He and his assistant hurried to their place. The men crept up to the fox, and at this time a dog approached the helpless animal and wanted to attack. They drove it away and made sure that it did not approach. Simon used a pair of wire cutters to cut through the fence netting and free the poor thing's paw. It was very badly damaged. The paw was cut with a metal net until it bled. The fox was carried to the veterinary clinic in a carrier. Then the dog appeared again and had to be restrained. The poor thing was bleeding very much, so the paw was tightly bandaged while driving to the clinic. Fortunately, the injury was not serious. The wound was treated and bandaged. For about a week, the paw was treated, and then the fox was released near the place where it was stuck. Concerned people paid attention to the dog, which clearly needed help. It was all overgrown with dirty, tangled hair. When the volunteers came for it, it turned out that there were 2 of them. The second animal was in the same state of neglect. The dogs lived in a yard littered with garbage, and they even had an owner. She just didn't take care of them at all and didn't give a damn. She allowed the volunteers to pick them up even without further return. First, they caught one of the dogs, and then the second one who tried to escape. In the veterinary clinic, they were trimmed, not without difficulty. Look how much extra fur these poor things had on. It took up more space than the dog's body itself. The dogs were put in kennels where they were taken care of and treated for skin diseases. They were given the names Bile and Dal. When the puppy's health returned to normal, they were given to a couple who helps dogs, for example, to trust people again. They have a lot of dogs that used to be homeless. So Bile and Dal made a lot of new friends. After a couple of days, they became less afraid and their small hearts began to open for love. In August, in the US state of Massachusetts, a raccoon got its head stuck in a sewer grate. Rescuers from the fire service and medics rushed to help it. The raccoon was watered with liquid soap, but even so, it could not get free. Then the grating was removed and they began to push on one side and pull on the other. After 2 hours of trying, everything finally worked out. The rescued animal, who survived this unpleasant situation, was released after being rehabilitated near this ill-fated place. This case occurred quite recently in Peterhof. A fox was hunting a duck in the Palace Park and after making a leap, fell into the fountain, which was enclosed by a high parapet. The poor thing was trying to swim along the canal in the hope to get out. But there were no options for it. The water was also very cold and the animal was very cold. A man, a park employee, came to the aid of the fox. He was not afraid to get into the cold water and pulled it to the shore. A dog wandered the streets, hungry, weak, and sick. It was impossible to look at it without tears. It was a walking skeleton with incredibly sad eyes. Its days were numbered. One person did not pass by and called the Animal Aid Rescue Service. Volunteers caught the dog and brought it to their center. It was carefully examined. It had severe rabies, terrible exhaustion, and many minor wounds. Employees of the Animal Rescue Center fattened it, bathed it, smeared its skin with lotions for skin diseases, and accustomed it to petting. The dog was named Mary. The care of volunteers turned Mary into a beautiful and happy dog. Look how she's transformed! All these rescues would not have been possible without good people and rescuers. I think they deserve your like. And also, help spread this video so that there are as many people who are not indifferent as possible. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to not miss new interesting videos. Margot was with you. Bye everyone!